Welcome everybody to a casual discussion on BivCorp's legacy project at 184 Huntingdale Road in East Oakley. This is a discussion with our architects and my son, who's the development director of our business, and how this project got formed. We thought we'd do a little bit of an infomercial on its background and where we are to date, as we've already started construction. So this property has been in our family 43 years now, hence the name Legacy. And it's been through 3 generations of Bivianos, and we've now decided to develop it. And the concept behind this development was to create a hotel atmosphere. So when I went to my good friend Ed to for the concepts on this design, our feel and our motivation was to create a hotel environment that felt a little bit like Crown or the Hilton when you walked in. So every night when you got home, that you actually felt that you weren't actually coming to a home, you were actually coming to a residence that felt more like an experience or a holiday type environment. So I went to Ed and I said, Ed, let's design something and let's have a look how this goes. So through its evolving, we've had many discussions that relate to form, area, outdoor entertainment area, view line, etc. And we thought that East Oakley was now, aside from being sort of close to the centre of Melbourne, it now had all the infrastructure around it that people would require living in a residence of this calibre. So I went to Ed and said, right Ed, let's design something, and then Ed came up with some concepts. You want to talk about the concepts, Ed?
Yeah, definitely. The theory behind the design was that it was an interactive space, it was a transitional space between the commercial component of Oakley and the residential space around the corner and behind it. So we looked at the design, broke it down into various pieces, and we said, how does this still connect to the commercial strip and how does it still relate to what the residents are behind it? We designed it in a boutique manner, just to reflect on what Michael said. We wanted the experience to be a luxurious experience. We wanted it to be a place of residence, but also a place of high standard as well. So combining those sorts of aspects into the house, the design itself reflects that externally. We borrow from the residential brick component that we find around the corner. We borrow from the horizontal line work that we find in the commercial space. So you combine them together and we get a great outlook, get a great aspect of the space and a great architectural form. Even upon arrival on the pedestrian side of the street, we've got this voluminous double-story space that gives people a sense of arrival, and you're not going into something that's more human scale as a standard apartment entry, but something that's got a lot of opulence to it, and that's reflected in all the public spaces and all the private spaces as well. Then that form is again transitioned to the outside. We've got great ground floor living. It gives people the opportunity, even if they're on the ground floor, to still have a great ground floor entertainment space. It gives people the opportunity to plant their own garden, their own veggie bed if they want on the ground floor. The design itself is not a small pokey apartment space. It's got a lot of air and a lot of movement, and it allows people to do a lot of entertaining as well. So we call it intergenerational living, where you could be a young family with kids and still have a playground at the back. You could be a retired couple that want to downsize but don't want to miss out on a purposeful dining room and a purposeful lounge room and great bedroom sizes as well. So it captures all aspects of the market. And when we were designing that, we were always talking to Christian and Michael and seeing what the best outcome in that design allows us for. So we've got a varying apartment size number, varying bedrooms, great aspects, great open space, a lot of large balconies as well. That even if you're on level 1 or level 2, we still have the opportunity to create a balcony with barbecues, with outdoor living spaces. You're not necessarily confined to the ground floor to have that level of space, external space as well. So putting that all together, a boutique style apartment that runs into a hotel type lifestyle, residents' connection to the street, referencing what's built around us, taking the best opportunity on the site is where it was all about. There's a lot of balls to juggle, but I think we've come up with a great solution on that.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think the interaction between Ben and Christian through its development, and you guys can talk a little bit about our interior design as far as lifting it up into sort of hotel standard you know, even with the hallway entry areas and as you said, Ed, with the scope and walking in through that front door, there's separate click and collect room that's not seen out this side of town yet, so that's new. We did on-grade parking, an absolute bonus. So the other thing that we did was, and Christian can talk a little bit about that, we hid the storage areas underground. We did a lot of things that were different but very expensive to do, but we know that it will stand the test of time. And I suppose for us, for the reality of us as a company is, and our association with you guys has been a very, very long time now, but for our longevity as a development company, we wanted to make sure that this was a landmark development. So this is, we know it's ahead of its time, right? We know from the finishes and that it's ahead of its time. I think Ben and Christian can talk a little bit about what finishes you've done running through the kitchen. That'd be good to just expand and have a couple of minutes on. And just explain to people, aside from the conceptual stuff that Ed's spoken about, is, you know, what have we done with the internal treatment? When people come into this display and have a look and see what we've done, how did we get to that point? So you two can talk about the little things you've done along the way with kitchen treatments, hallway treatments, bathroom treatments. Let's discuss that.
Yeah.
Do you want to start, Ben? Or?
Yeah, why not? Well, yeah, when the concept was formalized in the beginning, what we tried to do is to look around in the neighborhood. We saw a lot of similar development in the area, but we didn't want to do anything similar to them. We wanted to do something boutique, something that stands out.
Yeah.
So in the process of designing the interiors and coming up with the fittings and fixtures and the whole palette, we tried to capture that whole hotel feeling that Michael and yourself were talking about, and sort of replicate it in all the areas. As soon as you enter the building, the finishes on the facade of the building, the lighting that puts the focus on the entry and how you come in. Then there is a staircase that goes out, the verticality, there is some emphasis on that.
And all the exterior of the building is also done to flow through the internal of the building. So the external features will follow in the interior some way as you go through the corridor, giving you that full experience up until you walk into your residence. Then as you enter your residence, things like full height doors, all the way through the apartment, and just the little things around the large kitchens, the extra bench space, just to coordinate, dine, entertain. Finished with Miele appliances the whole way through. It's just the next level of all the back and forth we did once we started the renders and the changes and the little additions, and we go, wait, we forgot this, and it was a real finite process in getting it to where we wanted it to be.
Well, even with the kitchens, like we changed, I don't know how many times we changed the kitchen design. God knows you
6-7 times.
Yeah.
You guys drive me nuts on that because it was going back and forward.
Yeah.
But now we looked at it. Now we use that stone.
Yeah.
Now even in the panels and the benches and everything else. So what we've done, you guys have done a great job in carrying the flavour through
and making it a working space. If you're at your kitchen and you're turning behind, and make sure there is enough island bench space right there for you, or prep space next to your oven, or your cooktop, or whatever it was all those little details.
It's a great marriage between function and aesthetics.
Yeah. Look,
most of the time it's one or the other, and it's lost. Yeah.
The design was a constant evolution. So we had to start somewhere, but upon refinement, review, 3Ds, imagery, stone, it's a building that kept adding rather than kept removing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So between Ben and Christian and that constant evolution in making the design better, evolving the design, ensuring that the product is striving for a better outcome at every stage rather than diminishing at every stage. We kept evolving it on an upward trajectory. I think that's where it's really at.
Well, the balance is there's only 8 of them, and I don't know any apartment block that only has that number in it of that high spec level.
Yeah.
So this is certainly the highest spec level that the southeastern suburbs has seen.
Yeah.
I think it will certainly be the new benchmark.
Yeah.
And in a year or two, it's what the public will expect to buy.
Yeah.
So we have high wealth area. We have an ageing population, and people like that in my age genre, not quite yours yet, but my age genre, right? So I think they will expect to have a quality living space, right? with less maintenance, and that's really what this provides. So when we looked at the building, the overall concept Karen and I sort of initially had was to create something that we would live in ourselves, but we didn't want to move out of the southeastern suburbs because our parents are here and our kids are here, and most people will want to downgrade or upgrade their standard of living but downgrade their size in the suburbs they live in. And that's what we thought. So I think you guys have done a cracker job with that.
Thank you.
All the view lines and that have come up really well. The project, we've actually started the development of the project. It's under construction as we speak.
Well underway.
Well underway.
Yeah.
And I think that as far as, we invite you to come in and have a look at our display. Our display is at the Buxton's office in Oakley. If you have any questions or any queries, they'll be more than happy to help you. We do welcome any queries directly. It is a space, as far as the display space goes, that emulates exactly what we're building on site. So we'd like to thank you for your attention and welcome you to come and see us.
Thank you.
Thank you.